Story 1. The Creaking Floorboards. Sarah, a young and dedicated office worker, often found herself working late to finish her projects. One night, as she sat alone in the silent office, the building's eerie stillness was shattered by the relentless creaking of floorboards echoing through the empty corridors. Initially, Sarah tried to ignore the sound, attributing it to the settling of the old building. But as the creaking grew louder and more distinct, she couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that crept over her. Every creak seemed to follow her footsteps, as if an unseen presence was mimicking her movements. The silence between the creaks was even more unnerving, as Sarah's imagination ran wild, conjuring up images of lurking shadows and unseen entities. Unable to bear the suspense any longer, Sarah decided to confront the source of the sound. She cautiously ventured into the dimly lit corridors, the creaking growing louder with each step. As she rounded a corner, her heart leaped into her throat. A shadowy figure stood at the end of the corridor, its form obscured by the darkness. The figure remained motionless, but the creaking of the floorboards intensified, as if the figure was deliberately drawing Sarah closer. Fear gripping her heart, Sarah turned and fled, her footsteps echoing through the empty office as she ran for the safety of her desk. The creaking pursued her, a chilling reminder of the unseen presence that lurked within the shadows of the old building. Story 2. The Whispers in the Walls. Tom, a night security guard at a museum, was accustomed to the solitude of his late-night shifts. He would often spend the hours patrolling the silent galleries, admiring the ancient artifacts and priceless paintings. One night, as Tom walked through the Egyptian wing, he noticed a strange sound coming from the walls. It was a faint whispering, like a voice carried by the wind. At first, Tom dismissed it as the rustling of the ventilation system, but as the whispers grew louder and more distinct, he couldn't deny the eerie feeling that crawled up his spine. The whispers seemed to be speaking in an ancient foreign language, their words unintelligible yet somehow menacing. They echoed through the dimly lit galleries, bouncing off the walls and statues, creating an unsettling symphony of sound. Tom tried to ignore the whispers, but they followed him wherever he went, their presence growing more oppressive with each passing hour. He felt like an intruder in a sacred space, haunted by the voices of the ancient past. As the night wore on, the whispers intensified, their tone shifting from eerie to menacing. Tom could make out fragments of words that sent shivers down his spine. Words of curses, warnings, and ancient rituals. Unable to bear the torment any longer, Tom fled the museum, the whispers echoing in his ears. He ran into the night, seeking refuge from the spectral voices that had invaded his solitude. Story 3. The Ghostly Companion. Emily, a shy and introverted librarian, often found solace in the quiet solitude of the library after hours. She would spend her evenings surrounded by books, lost in the world of literature, far from the bustling world outside. One night, as Emily worked late, she noticed a strange presence in the library. It was a feeling of being watched, a sensation that someone else was sharing the silent space with her. At first, Emily dismissed it as her imagination, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing hour. She could sense a cold breeze brushing against her skin, a faint shadow flickering at the edge of her vision. As the night deepened, the ghostly presence grew bolder. Emily would hear whispers echoing through the stacks, footsteps following her as she walked between the shelves, and books opening and closing on their own. The library, once a place of comfort and solitude, had become a haunted haven, its silence broken by the spectral presence. Emily felt trapped within its walls, unable to escape the ghostly companion that stalked her every step. One night, as Emily worked late, the ghostly presence made its presence known. A translucent figure materialized before her, its form shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Emily froze in fear, her heart pounding in her chest. The ghostly figure approached her slowly, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. As the figure drew closer, Emily braced herself for the worst. But instead of attacking her, the figure reached out and gently touched her hand. The touch was cold, but there was no malice in it. From that night on, the ghostly presence became Emily's constant companion. It would follow her around the library, helping her put books away and guiding her through the labyrinthine stacks.